Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are, Sunday night, ready to head back into Battle World. Eric's with me and Kill, of course. What's up, guys? What's going on?
Glad to be back.
Hey.
Yeah, not too much.
All right. And real quick, for you guys that have jumped in with us, we appreciate you guys hanging out. Hope you're having a good day. And also just to say a happy Mother's Day, and for all of you guys that are able to send best wishes to mothers everywhere and in the community and outside. We appreciate all of you. And let's see who we have. A blanket hello to everybody. We've got Melissa in the house. What's going on, Melissa? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. We've got Mary. Mary, hey, how's it going? Good to see you. We got RJ in the house saying Malignant for the police station massacre all the way. All right. Mm-hmm. We got Gene. What's up, Gene? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling here. We're rocking and rolling. But thank you for being here. We appreciate it. We got Paula. What's up, Paula? Hope you're doing well. A-Troll saying, hey, everyone. What's going on, man? Good to see you. Let's see. We got Jinzo. What's up? Good to see you. Hope you've been doing well. And our man Oliver has a channel member anniversary. 7 months.
Good for
We're
you.
Rocking and rolling, man. Heck yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much for the support, man. We appreciate it and hope that your day has been going well. Thank you for being here. Saying good evening, everyone. Hope everyone has a fun night tonight. I've been battling food poisoning for the last 24 hours and feel like crap. Ooh, happy Mother's Day. Well, man, I hope you feel better soon. Seriously.
Yeah.
That's a tough one, man. But yeah, just hang in there and we hope that you feel better. Yep. And hopefully if you are able to watch tonight, hopefully it brings you a little bit of a distraction. That's always one thing that we hope for. But thanks for all of your support, man. We appreciate you and definitely look forward to having some fun, man. Seriously. Mm-hmm. All right. So guys, tonight, I believe this is it is the second of the triple threats that we've ever done, right? I believe so.
We did one that was Jason Goes to Hell.
Yeah, Leatherface
Elm Street
and
remake,
Freddy.
And then that awful Leatherface movie, Next Generation.
Come on, man. You didn't
Oh.
You know what? I gotta admit, man, I'm not gonna lie. And I think I said it on the stream. It was bad. It was bad. But maybe, at least for me, maybe I was expecting it to be even worse. If that's a positive whatsoever. I don't know. What did you guys think? Just as a quick aside.
In all honesty, I like a lot of bad movies. Like, I know when a movie is bad. This one I almost didn't finish for Battle World, but I knew that we always have a finale category, so I had to.
Right.
I didn't like what they did with Leatherface. Like, he was a baby in part 2, but he was worse in this one. Like when Renee Zellweger's like telling him to sit down or something like that. And then when they bring in like the Men in Black or whatever they were, and the one guy with the rings on his belly licking Renee Zellweger.
I remember that.
I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Kill, what did you expect it to be that bad, or was it just kind of like, yeah, it was as bad as you expected, or what? Do you remember?
Yeah, it was as bad as I expected.
Oh, all right. It must have been me, man, because I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I couldn't remember seeing it, back in the day. You know what I'm saying? Like, I knew of it. I knew Matthew and Renee were in it, but I never really remembered it. So my watch of it for Battle World was kind of like a first time watch. And so I had heard all the bad stuff about it and I was just dreading it, and I watched it and it was like, yeah, it was bad, but I've seen worse, so.
Oh, I've seen worse.
But Kill's like, what, really? I'm just saying, man.
He doesn't want to remember. That's what it is.
He doesn't. All right. So, tonight is a triple threat match. And hey, Tom, what's going on? Tom's in the chat. Good to see you. Tonight is a triple threat title match. And I think that this is going to be really interesting because guess Jinzo said Eric loves bad movies. I got this on record. There you go.
Hey.
So, but it's a triple threat match. And it's kind of special because it is a titled defense. But we got to figure out one thing. Kill. Who's the champ, Kill? Who is the champ? Any in their family, you know who it is.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Oh, sorry. That's Hereditary.
Yeah, that's who it is. All right. Okay. So Hereditary is the champ, but we have two films that are going against it as a triple threat match. We've got The Witch, and we also have James Wan's Malignant, both that had victories that gave them the title shot or a title shot.
Right.
Kill, let's go to your commentary real quick, then we'll go to Eric. Kill, what do you think about these three films being paired up? Because I think this could be really interesting. Like almost like maybe two of them might cancel each other out. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, all three of these, we've got some strong female characters. We've got some twisted families in all three, actually. Twisted siblings, if you know, you know. Yeah, these three are good examples of kind of the new breed of horror, where you have great acting, great directing, cinematography, soundtrack, just the whole 9 yards. And all three of these to me are classics in their own rights.
All right. Okay. Eric, any quick thoughts on how this shapes up as a triple threat match?
As a triple threat match, I'm looking at it this way. The Witch and Hereditary, they're very similar, dealing with witches, witchcrafts, cults, what have you. They're going to be going at it. And then you got the dark horse back in the corner, with Malignant, you know what I mean? That's coming out of nowhere. And it's this. I watched Malignant for the first time for when it won. It got its Battle World victory. And I know James Wan's style. You know what I mean? I'm a huge fan of Saw, Dead Silence, which is an underrated one. Everything he's done, even the Aquaman movies. And this is something that I was surprised with, even from being a big fan, because by that finale, and Gabriel does his thing, I think it has a good chance of actually winning the title tonight.
All right. Okay. All right. So for you guys in the chat, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be giving our pick through different categories of which film we think deserves the point. Okay. So it's going to be based upon, who's the best in a particular category, always trying to make sure that with Battle World, it's not so much about the films that we like or the films that we may not like. That's always our big thing. Now, before we get going, to let you guys know, let us know which film you would pick through these categories. We'll try to get to as many people as we can, but we won't get to everyone. But if you choose to send in a super chat, a couple things will happen. Number one, we're going to make sure we get to your comment and or question, but you can also put that super chat amount as points to the film of your choice. So for instance, if you send in a $5 super chat, you can put 5 points to the film that you want to win. Okay. And also the other thing too is for channel members, we're also going to be randomly picking a channel member to add points. And we also have for our Patreon members who also put votes in for their film of choice. Okay. So if you're not a channel member, if consider being one, you can hit the join button next to the subscribe button. You can also join us on Patreon, our Patreon platform, and we actually have a voting poll in the Patreon page that we have. So before we begin, just to say, hey, we also got Jerry in the house. What's up, Jerry? Good to see you. We got Rachel. Hey, Rachel.
Hey, Rachel.
Good to have you. Very cool to have you here. Let's see. Rachel saying, am I the only one to find Hereditary overrated? A tad overrated. I mean, yeah, it was good, but it didn't blow me away. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. We got the Marvel and DC Marshlands saying, what's up? How you doing? Good to have you here. Hope you're doing well.
Love that name.
I know, right? We got Doom Turkey as well. What's up, man? Good to see you. Okay, let's get this thing going. So we're going to start this off. Eric, as always, we're going to start with the poster. The poster. So we've got the posters for Hereditary. We've got the poster for The Witch. And we have the poster for Malignant. Which poster gets the point for you, Eric?
I am going with Malignant. The other two posters are good. They're very simple. But I just, as I've always said, when it comes to me, I'm a color guy, and then the way the red is popping off the black background looks great. The female right down there, her skin is red, so it pops off more, especially when you see the white eyeball. And then I love how the eye Malignant is literally looks like a dagger going to her eye. So that draws me in more than the other two. Definitely going Malignant.
Okay, all right. Kill, how about you? When we talk about the posters for Hereditary, The Witch, and of course for Malignant, who gets the point?
I just want to say this isn't fair because all three of these posters are the shit. These posters are amazing, and I'm so used to like us having some whack posters in here. I'm sorry.
It's a whack poster.
I mean, he's not wrong sometimes.
Or some that are just plain, or it's just floating heads and
floating heads. Yeah.
I'm going to critique all three of these, and it's praise for all three. Hereditary looks amazing there with the two images of our family members here, mother, daughter. You have like the green, what is the thing in there? The broken thingy.
Oh, that's oh my gosh.
I know. I'm going crazy here.
That's not the light.
No,
that's a good question.
Oh goodness.
I'll have to look that up.
We've talked about this before. Well, anyway,
yeah.
I love the symmetry of this poster. I love their expressions.
Yeah.
I love everything about this. Can we go to the next one?
Yep.
Okay. The Vavitch. I've always loved this poster. It's simplistic, but it's haunting. It also, to me, kind of feels like a throwback to like, maybe like some movies from like the 70s, witchcraft type stuff. But it's just so simplistic and just I just love the way that, what was that Black Phillip?
Black Phillip.
Black Phillip is doing this thing. And then the next one, please. Eric said it best. I love the red in Malignant. I love the lettering. It's amazing. So all three of these, I tip my hat to them, but I gotta go for Hereditary.
Oh,
I gotta go for Hereditary because it's just like that poster. To me, I want to know what is going on here. Is this a mother and a daughter? Are these sisters?
Right.
Is that a younger version of her? What's going on here? Why do I only see like the green of her eyes and everything else kind of looks muted? I even love the lettering for Hereditary down there. It's just so haunting and captivating. If you walk past this in a movie theater, you're gonna stop. You're gonna look at it like, what is this? So
okay. For me, this is tough because, and I agree with you. I'm glad you took the time to explain it because I agree. I think all three of these posters are really, really cool, as far as being modern horror, and all of them in one way or another had a pretty good profile as far as in the horror community and, as far as just promotion out there, this is really tough, man.
It is.
This is really tough, but just looking at them, I'm just like, I'm gonna also go with Hereditary.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. And it's really close. And don't get me wrong, I love all three, but it was really close between Malignant and Hereditary. But the thing about Hereditary, and Kill, you kind of touched upon it. Just looking at the poster, first of all, I love the way it's set up. You got that black and white type of vibe going on with the blue that pops out, and how Hereditary is the font. And I agree, man. It's like, what's going on in this picture? What are we doing? And Tony's look on her face is just like, wow, it's Creep City, so it has that curiosity factor that goes just a little bit further for me than Malignant. and The Witch is great too, but Malignant, obviously the coloring is great. And I love how that's going right to Madison's eye. But yeah, Hereditary just beats it out for me just a little bit. So I'm going with Hereditary on that. Okay. All right. For you guys in the chat, again, let us know, which one you would go with. We won't get to everyone, but again, we will do our best. Paula is going with The Witch. RJ is going with Malignant. All right. Rachel going with Malignant. Very, very cool. The look of terror on Annabelle's face. The look on Annabelle's face is good too. I do agree. Ty's going with Malignant. Mary's going with Malignant. And Jinzo. Okay. Very, very cool, guys. Jim's in the house. What's up, Jim? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Is going with The Witch. Okay. Very, very cool. And we got Super Tenor in the house. What's up, Super Tenor? All right. Doom saying Hereditary has that Quaid start the reactor vibe. All right. Let's go to our next category, and that is the tagline. The tagline. Okay, so here are the taglines, Eric. For Hereditary, we've got every family tree hides a secret. For Malignant, we've got a new vision of terror. And for The Witch, we have evil takes many forms. Which tagline do you want to give the point to?
I hate to say they're all kind of lame. Malignant, we're getting rid of that one. I don't like that one at all. Could you please reread Hereditary and The Witch, please?
Yeah. The Witch is evil takes many forms. And Hereditary is every family tree hides a secret.
I guess of those two, I'll go with Hereditary because there's some mystery to it. It's not as generic, I guess, as the other two. So I'll just say it wins by default. But it does kind of get me a little interested. I mean, it does fit with the title of the film. So I'll go with Hereditary.
Okay. All right. Kill, how about you?
See, you giveth, and then I have to taketh away. We just went from 3 great posters to 3 whack-ass taglines. Eric said it best. They're all little generic. I also, too, am going to have to go with Hereditary because at least it blends with the name of the movie. It does add some intrigue there. And then a close second, I would go with The Witch, I guess. But yeah, I got to go with Hereditary on this one.
Okay. All right. For me, I think they're all generic. Definitely all generic. Nothing really sticks out. But one of them, which is the one I'm going to give the point to, one of them at least has some intrigue to it, in my opinion. And I will say, and it's not Malignant, so I'm just going to throw that out there right now. I will say,
we knew that.
I will say Malignant, when it says a new vision of terror, like it makes sense once you see the movie. Like I'm like, okay, I get what they were doing there. And with the poster, because it's going towards her eye, it's kind of like, okay, but it just seems like it's just not enough. It doesn't have enough punch, right? So that's out. But I'm going to give the point to Hereditary as well. And, at least that one has some intrigue to it, as far as every family tree hides a secret. And you look at the poster, you're like, yeah, there's got to be a secret with that. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? Whereas the other ones they're just so generic. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this has to go to Hereditary. This was actually very easy for this round for me. All right, let's see what we got in the chat. Mary saying The Witch, because that tagline is true if you think about it. Yeah, that's what I was saying. The Witch definitely, once you see it, The Witch definitely makes sense, and Malignant makes sense. But Hereditary makes sense before I watch the movie, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Based upon the poster and the name of the movie. You know what I'm saying? So that's one thing for me. Doom is going with Hereditary. Paul is going with The Witch. Jinzo says he's going with The Witch. Okay. All right. Let's see. I think I'm caught up to everyone. Jinzo saying the taglines are sort of weak. They are. Yep. Rachel saying I would have gone with Dost Thou Wish to Live Deliciously for The Witch. Yeah.
Yes.
That would have been amazing.
Rachel.
Yes. Yep. I agree. That would have been good. You You gotta work on taglines, Rachel, because you're right. That would have been the one to use, man. Seriously. All right. Let's go to our next category and see what we get. Next category, Eric, is the opening of the film, which, as we know, can be a couple of minutes. For some movies, it could be maybe even 15 minutes. There's a couple of movies that's even longer. But anyways, which which opening do you think you want to give the point to?
They're all very good in what they need to do.
Mm-hmm.
Two of them are world and character and story building. And then you have my choice, Malignant, which starts with balls to the wall. What the F are we getting into?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going with Malignant. The whole scene at the hospital, the psychiatric ward, or whatever it is at the beginning, dealing with Gabriel, building up this who is Gabriel, what is Gabriel, and seeing what Gabriel can possibly do, the broken arms and all this and that. It's just like, okay, now we got a ball game. Let's get going. So I'm going Malignant.
Okay. Kill, how about you?
Man, great minds think alike. It's funny. I love the opening to all of these, but just like Eric said, two of them are world building, and the other one is just crazy action. But I do want to give a shout out to that courtroom sort of trial in The Witch. Where
your boy Ralph Ineson, he was not taking any shit.
Look, anytime he speaks, you just listen. He has a great voice, and he's done some video game voice work, and it's just spot on. And he's just essentially, he knows we've lost. We've lost the case. But he's like that guy in the court that's like, I don't give a crap. Y'all suck. You suck. You're cool. You suck.
You're out of order. You're
out of order. I'm out of order. And they get cast into the abyss of the forest. All right.
Literally.
And that builds that world so well. But I do need to go with Malignant. There's no lying here. When all of that is happening at the hospital, I'm just wondering what is going on. That's clearly has to be our antagonist, and this antagonist is like Superman, super strong, like just taking people out, and it just builds a lot of intrigue right off the bat. So
I mean, I'm going to echo the same thing. I'm going to go with Malignant as well, and this is actually an easy one for me as well. Even though The Witch and Hereditary have great openings that do a great job of opening a movie, just like an opening scene should, to get you invested. With Hereditary, it's kind of like, wow, this is a sad scenario. They're at this funeral, and you immediately see Tony, and just you get this vibe of where this could be going, and you see the oddness with Charlie and even the family, just little things like, well, we'll get to that in another category, but it's a really good setup. Same thing with The Witch. When Ralph says, I've done nothing but preach Christ's gospel, and I'm just like, wow, he just, like you said, he gives no F's. He's just like, and when they're heading out, being banished, from the group, and they're on that wagon that has like one wheel, and they're kind of all over the field. I'm just like, bro, you might as well go like to the moon. It just was like so messed up. But Malignant wins because it's got that old school vibe. It's like you're going to this scary setting, this insane asylum, and all of a sudden shit's going down. And like you said, Kill, it's like this is like an X-Men situation. The lights, electricity is buzzing, and this and that. I'm like, what is James going to do with this film? It's great. It's great. So yeah, I got to go with Malignant as well. Okay. Jinzo also going with Malignant, and Paul is going with The Witch. Okay. All right. Very, very cool. Mary going with Malignant. Okay. Yes. Ty, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, it's definitely exciting versus, the family at a funeral or the family getting exiled. It's very true. So you got to grab the attention sometimes. Okay. Let's go to our next category, and that is the story, Eric. When we talk about overall the story from A to Z, which film do you think in this triple threat, which film do you think should get the point?
This one's really tough because like I said earlier in the beginning, like, you know, two are similar, and then you got the dark horse, but they all are very similar in a lot of ways too. We're going from A to Z. Shit. You know what? I might have to go with Hereditary, and I think what it is the following of this family, and no, again, no disrespect to the family and the witch, but the following of this family and the tragedy that keeps happening, and it keeps amping up, and then they just get like it becomes at first, the tragic story of what happens with Charlie, and then let's throw in witches and this and that and this, but to me it works. You know what I mean? And I really dig that. I really like it. And there's like the little bit of a fake out. You think because of the poster, Charlie could be the villain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then within 20 minutes, maybe 15, 20 minutes, we find out that's not the case. So now I want to know where that's leading. Why does this family member, I don't know how to say it without YouTube, get taken out so early? You know what I mean? And then where are we going to go from there? Because we still have an hour and 40 minutes to go.
Right.
And then by the time this film ends, I'm left with a feeling like, what the hell did I just fucking watch? You know what I mean?
Right.
And sometimes with a horror movie, you want that. And I got that. Hereditary.
All right. Well said. Kill, how about you, man? Which one gets the point for story?
This is hard because I was kind of dreading this category.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird in a way, and I'll be very brief. You have two movies that deal with families and loss.
Yeah.
One, it's a slower loss. The other one, it's like, yeah, kids are getting aced out in the first 10 minutes of the movie, and it's just, oh man, all right, little Johnny's gone, and this person's gone, and it's like a few days. The whole family is taken out, goats, they're stabbing people, it's just a lot of stuff, rapid pace. It's a little bit more of a slow burn in Hereditary. There's family members that are getting unalived, and then also there's a lot of secrets that are coming to the surface. Whereas in Malignant, you don't really have that. You have a slasher, and you have the question of who is this killer and what is their relation to our protagonist. So, and all of these stories, they're simplistic but complex at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is very interesting. And two things can be true. I'm gonna have to go with Hereditary, mainly because of how certain characters are coping, how certain characters are dealing with the tragedies, and all the other intrigues that come with the tragedies, slowly peeling back like an onion, and just really making the story blossom a little bit more. But they all have good stories, and they're all interesting in their own way. But yeah, Hereditary.
All right, man. For me, again, this is tough because I think all three movies, once again, they had really good stories. From A to Z, the stories are good, and they're all doing different things. You know what I'm saying? Like you've got with Hereditary, the story of this family that's just disintegrating. You have that with the witch as well, but with the witch, it's kind of a little bit different in my opinion because they're so isolated from any other person. Other than the witches, you know what I'm saying? So, it has a different vibe. And of course, Malignant, you also have this mystery that's going on, this slasher, this giallo style type of film that James Wan was homaging, which he did such a great job with, by the way. So they're all kind of different. But when I look at story, I'm just thinking about, from top to bottom, which one had the most meat on the sandwich, basically. And I've got to give that point to Hereditary. And I'm going to tell you why. Because with Hereditary, there was multiple things going on with this family disintegration within the family and from outside of the family. And you just had all of these scenarios, and all four of the prime cast members, or you can even add a fifth with Ann Dowd, who is always amazing. Anytime she shows up, she was tricking Annie the whole time. Like, oh yeah, my son too. But she's an amazing actress, and she was just a supporting actress. You know what I'm saying? But so with this story, you had all of these talents that were just like just working this movie from the very first scene all the way through. So I just have to edge it out with Hereditary. It's just, yeah, it is what it is. Let's see what we got going on in the chat. We got Master Caecilius. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Hope you're doing well, and hope you enjoy the debate. Mary's going with Malignant and Ty, and Paula's going with The Witch. We got people that are on certain trains. We can see that. All right. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay. And again, for you guys just jumping in, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We'd appreciate that. That helps to support the stream and also get it out to other folks. We'd appreciate that. And also just to say, I just want to say also, for some of you guys were here for our last stream, and last night we were on, and thank you so much for the support. We really appreciate that. It means a lot. And like I was saying last night, my buddy Steven was saying, doing life together as a community, it makes things a lot easier. And you guys are really awesome. We really appreciate the support. Okay, so Eric, let's go to our next category, man.
Sure.
Next up, we've got characters. Who do you think, or I should say, which movie do you think should get the point for best characters?
I think I'm going to have to go with Hereditary. Because of what the characters go through and how they deal with it. And all three films have strong characters that go through a lot of serious shit and have to deal. But I think the characters with Hereditary go through more. And maybe I root for them more, if that makes sense, because I'm rooting for Toni Collette with her loss. And, I'm rooting for Gabriel Byrne, because they love each other, but the loss of a child can cause a marriage to crumble. It really can. I hate to say that. The son's name Peter, right?
Peter. Yep.
What that poor kid goes through.
Right.
And he, no offense to Charlie, you don't really get, in my opinion, I didn't get really too attached to Charlie because she's gone within 20 minutes. But just seeing what that poor kid goes through, and I hate to say it, he's probably the most innocent of them all. You know what I mean? No knock to Charlie, but he's the most innocent of them all. You know what I mean? If he didn't take his sister and kind of ditch her at the party to go smoke some pot with his friends, Charlie might still be with us. And then just seeing everything just avalanche on him. And then I know we're going to get to the finale, but that finale, it's just one of those, you get mad at the director and the writers, just for putting this poor kid through all that hell. But that's that's good storytelling. Like, let me compare it to Stephen King. We get attached to all these characters. So when they go through that hell, we go through it with them, and we feel sympathy for them. And I felt so much sympathy for Peter by the end of it. It made me mad. You know what I mean? It's a great ending. We'll get to that category, but it made me mad. So I felt for the characters more in Hereditary.
All right. We got you down for Hereditary. Kill, how about you when you think about the characters for these three awesome films, which, by the way, all three of these films have had victories on Battleworld. So that's why this is a really tough, matchup. But Kill, who gets the point overall for characters?
This is a tough one. And if you ask me on a different day, it might switch. We have three movies, but unfortunately, I'm already putting Malignant out of the running for this. I'm going with The Witch. And the reason I'm going for The Witch is kind of some of the same reasonings Eric went with for Hereditary. And it's Anna Taylor-Joy's character goes through living hell to the point where her entire family believes she is Satan's spawn. And she is so innocent through this whole entire thing. She plays the most deadly game of peekaboo with the baby. The baby gets taken from her. Her mom hates her guts.
I know.
Her father is her only buddy. And even to a point, he then has to kind of look at her like, look at me, child. Did you make a pact with Satan? And it's like, oh man, like even her, that was her hype man. And he even kind of had the, when it's just look, if it walks like a duck, it quacks like a duck. After a while, he was just like, Anna, you're a duck. I don't know what's going on. But she went through a lot, just like the son in Hereditary. But I don't know. It's just something about the way the characters in The Witch, like you said, Knight, they're out there alone.
Yep.
They have the elements. They got Black Phillip being weird. They got the witches dancing around naked and just luring young boys out into the woods and eating them. You know, it's just so much stuff that's going on. And then just the harsh American landscape.
Right.
And you know, no spoilers here, but Anna has to make a choice at the end. It's just like, well, hell, I guess I do want to live deliciously. I might as well. I mean, you know, like, well, I have nothing left. Like, I might as well eat some butter, you know, and live deliciously. Like I said, this is very close. You know, if you ask me on a different day, I could lean more towards Hereditary, but I'm gonna go with The Witch on this one.
All right. Okay. You know, to me, this is so tough because I think all three of these films, they're so good, you know, with the characters, you know, in some way, shape, or form. And they're different. But I do agree with one thing you said right off the bat, Kill, that Malignant, you know, definitely is in the third place. And part of that too is, you know, how many characters are we talking about? Because sometimes that does make a difference. So they're kind of out, right? So it comes down to Hereditary and The Witch. And for me, I gotta admit, I'm gonna go with The Witch on this. And it was very similar to what you were saying, Kill. It's like, you know, you've got this situation with a family disintegrating, you know, and the same type of idea, but it's different again, you know, just with the claustrophobia and just being totally remote, totally alone against all of the elements. And each character in this family kind of gets their moment, you know, maybe except for the two young ones, right? But you know, everyone, you know, mother, the father, Thomason, and also the brother. And by the way, the brother, he did a fantastic job. I mean, that scene where he was basically laying there on the verge of death, and he was just like in that Zen state, so to speak, and he was just like his dialogue, like he was just hitting it. Like that was just some great stuff. So I do have to edge this out to The Witch because I just think that they had so many moments from all of them, you know, that it really bolstered, you know, the characters for this film. You were really invested in what was going to happen. You really were. Okay, all right. So The Witch is on the board, guys. All right. We got some folks in the chat going with The Witch, like Paula. All right. Okay. Ty is going with Hereditary. Very, very cool. And hey, we got Jordan in the house. What's up, Jordan? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Saying The Witch handled the religious hysteria, but Hereditary focused on dread. Well said. Yeah. H.O.'s going with Malignant. Okay. And Master Caecilius is going with Hereditary. Has amazing characters with such depth. And Rachel saying, okay, this one has to go to Hereditary. The entire family are so intense, you can't look away, and their dynamics are great. Toni Collette is a queen. There you go. All right. Let's see. I'm just making sure. I know, Rachel. Oh my gosh. No one ever paid more for having a toke than poor Peter. Stay off of drugs, kids. Yeah, that's right. Save a sibling. That's right. There you go. All right. And we also got Dan in the house. What's up, Dan? Good to see you. Good to have you. Saying just wanted to jump in and say, hey, have to watch Malignant. Still didn't want any spoilers, but hope it's a great stream as always. And happy Mother's Day. Thank you so much, Dan. Much appreciated. And thank you so much for you know, just being so positive and spreading the joy and the word over on Patreon. And by the way, I'm actually going to make sure I put the link to the Patreon in the chat. And we do have a poll on there. So if you would like to vote and have it show up on the poll, you'll be able to do that. I'll put that in there in a second. What's up, Ryan? Good to see you.
Yeah,
okay.
Dan, Malignant is definitely one you don't want spoiled if you have no idea what's going on. So
right. Yes, absolutely. Yep. Let's talk about directors, man. We got three, to me anyways, three of some of the best horror directors in the modern era when we talk about the last 20 years or so. You've got James Wan, you've got Ari Aster, and you've got Robert Eggers. Eric, which director gets the point in this triple threat?
Let's see here. Ari Aster, I've seen 2 of their films. I've only seen 1 Robert Egger, and I've pretty much seen every James Wan film ever made. But I'm going with the newbie. I'm going with Robert Eggers. Like I said, newbie for me, as I've only seen The Witch. Here's why. All these directors, all 3 of them, can always pull out a great performance from their actors. You know what I mean? You know, the actors have to have the skill, but a director has to also help guide them. So it's like a symbiotic relationship. What makes me pick Robert over the other 2 is you always have the difficulty of a period piece. And that's what I can appreciate from The Witch. I felt like I was back in that time period. The attention to detail, what they have, what they can't have, what's not created, the look of the forest, you know, and also you feel the isolation. And the thing is, I think Ari Aster maybe went a little too hard with the dread in Hereditary. You know what I mean? Because there is no breathing room. And at times that can be tough. There's not that much breathing room in The Witch either, but there is enough where you can just take that breath and then get thrown to the wolves again. You know what I mean? But I think Robert is fantastic, and I want to see more of his. I've seen bits and pieces of Nosferatu. I definitely wasn't in the mood, so I have to go revisit it. But if his films are anything like The Witch, he will have a new fan with me.
Yeah. All right. So we're going with The Witch. Okay. Witch might be catching up a little bit. Kill, how about you? What do you think?
I've been waiting for this one. These are 3 modern masters, like straight up.
I agree.
James Wan, we know the pedigree there. It's amazing. Ari Aster, masterful. I'm going with Robert Eggers because I am a Robert Eggers fan. The Lighthouse, The Northman, Nosferatu, The Witch. I mean, he does not miss. When he does a period piece, he will give you some of the coldest looking scenes, the wettest, the stinkiest Viking fight. Look, I mean, just covered in shit and mud and just cutting off limbs. I mean, Dracula never looked so menacing. I mean, scary witches in the woods, you know, and he knows when to show things and when not to. He didn't show us Black Phillip when he was behind Anna Taylor-Joy, but we kind of saw like what he really looked. We kind of saw how tall and menacing, you know, it was, and just the use of like black and white in The Lighthouse, things of that nature, the comedy of certain characters and actors and scenes, you know. And in this movie, he gives us dread, he gives us suspense, he gives us action, he gives us horror. I love everything he does. Eric, please look up his catalog, bro. I'm like, because anytime I just know he's making a movie, I'm like, yeah, just take my money. It's
true.
You know, I don't need any reviews. Nosferatu, oh, you're doing a vampire flick? Yeah, period piece. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna jump back into Nosferatu. Like I said, I definitely wasn't in the right mood and mind frame for that. You know, 2.5 hours of Nosferatu. I really want to see is it the Northman, the Viking movie?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I want to see that, and I've been told interesting things about the Lighthouse,
dude.
So, that's a good word to use. It's interesting.
So that's another one I'm pretty sure I have to be in the right mood for. So
but it's an experience. Look, did you ever see? And I'm sorry, I'm taking time here. Did you ever watch Lamb?
Yes, I loved
it. Did you ever watch Men?
Yeah,
no, I don't think so.
Okay. Wow.
Okay, well, hey, if you watched Lamb and you loved it,
I did.
You'll like Lighthouse.
Okay,
because those 3 movies are my like my Mount Rushmore of the fuck.
I was gonna say that could say a lot of things. If I love
so
Lamb, I
true.
can love The Lighthouse. So
those are movies like when you watch those movies, and we actually talked about Lamb and we talked about Men.
Yep.
And bro, I don't even know, man. We lost some English words in that discussion because it's just like, how do we make sense of this shit? You know what I'm saying? Like, but that's also what's interesting about them, and they're well made and interesting in their own way. And The Lighthouse is the same. So
okay,
all right. Now for me, I'll just make this quick. I'm going to go down the same road with you guys. I'm going with Robert Eggers, and the reason why is. And I'm not looking so much at the other films because if I did that, then I might lean a little bit more to James Wan. I think it's between James and Robert for me. I mean, Ari Aster is amazing as well, but I think the thing, and one of you guys said it, I think you might have said it, Eric, but the thing about Robert, he does know when to pull back to kind of keep a balance in the film, which is interesting because it causes intrigue. In the beginning of the film, you don't really see the witch. You see like little glimpses as she's running through the forest and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's just intriguing. It's a stylistic thing. And James has that as well. But like you guys said, the thing about Robert taking us back into this old time in the world. You got these actors that have to use dialogue from back then. You have this situation that has all of these little elements working and bubbling into the top. And I just think he was able to handle it with such skill, and so I'm going to edge it out, which is crazy because, James Wan is one of my favorite directors ever, but just based upon, these films, I just think, Robert had a little bit more of a difficult task. You know what I'm saying? Okay. All right. So we've got that down. Let's see what we've got next. Eric, we're going to be talking about which film provides or presents the scarier threat. This is a tough one to me.
I hate to say it again, Malignant, no chance. You could always lock up Gabriel eventually. You know what I mean? The other two, shit. Oh man, this is really, really tough, dude. I didn't think this would be. Well, I should have figured this was a category, but okay. I'm gonna go with Hereditary.
Okay.
And here's why. I don't remember the god's name. Is it Paimon?
Paimon. Yep.
Okay. I don't know if it's male or female, so I'll say they're always watching. And you don't notice it unless you have multiple views. That little flutter of light, the little, I would call it the little butterfly. You know what I mean? You always see in the background when he's about to do some shit. He's always watching. And no disrespect to Black Phillip. I don't know. I think what Paimon does, he's got a plan. It's got a plan, whatever. And it's, we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, then we're going to go here, and then I win.
Mm-hmm.
Anya Taylor-Joy's character, I think, took a little bit of convincing.
Yeah.
But by the end, she was just like, okay, let's just do it. Paimon, he didn't care. He knows he's going to win. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm going with Hereditary.
Okay. All right. So we're going with Hereditary. And Kill, before I get to you, also just to say, hey, to you guys jumping into the chat, welcome everybody. We see you guys. We got May in the house. What's up, May? Hope you're doing well. And happy Mother's Day, as well as everyone else jumping in. Happy Mother's Day. And she's saying, hey, what's up? Hey. All right. And we also have Barb in the house. What's up, Barb? Good to see you.
Barb.
All right. Awesome. And by the way, again, guys, let us know what you think for these categories. We're not able to get to everyone's, but if you do send in a super chat, you can make sure that you put those points to the film of your choice, and we'll make sure to get to your comment and or question. Okay, so Kill, when we talk about the scarier threat, which film do you think should get the point?
So I also agree. Gabriel, just have a seat and let the big boys play here.
He's at the kiddie table.
Paimon is he's cool, Eric. He's cool with the fluttering light, and he's trying to be reborn and statues and this and that. Black Phillip pretty much is Satan, and you kind of see him.
And you kind of see him,
and he's kind of there, and he kills a grown man in his goat form just for fun. He's playing with his food with his family. He's just slowly taking them out. He powers up witches and imbibes them with power, and they also do his bidding. And, he just waited for, Anya to say, "Hey, just take me."
Yeah.
You want to join my team. I'm not begging you to join me. You're going to want it. You're going to come to me.
Yeah, I'm just going to take everything else.
Yeah, I'm just going to take everything away from you slowly.
Yeah.
And then you're going to be floating in the forest just like the rest of my witches out here and frolicking, whatnot. So, Black Phillip is not to be messed with. Black Phillip is playing with his food. He could have ended this family anytime he wanted, just had the witches come in, or he could have just did it himself. So yeah, I gotta go with Black Phillip. I gotta go with the witch.
Okay. All right. For me, listen,
it's tough, isn't it?
It's tough between these two, man. At least for me, it's not as quick and easy for me to decide, because the thing about Hereditary though is that, like, bro, this thing was set up. I mean, he's a king of hell. All right. So, I mean, they're all down, whatever. But this thing was set up when the grandmother was still alive. They were like, it's like that song from the 80s, sowing the seeds of love, bro. It's like,
he played a long game.
Dude, he played the ultimate long game. He's like, I'm generational. Okay. I'm around for a long time. Now, so I'm just saying, like, if I'm in that scenario, if I'm, in that movie as Peter, it's like, bro, I lose my grandmother. I kill my sister, my dad, and then my mother's coming after me. And it's like, what? I got to jump out of, I got to make a jump. You know what I'm saying, at the end of the movie. And it's like, and that's not good enough. You know what I mean? So that just sucks too. So it's hard. The way I'm gonna do this is just cutting it down to the middle, because I'm gonna go with the witch. And the reason I'm gonna go with the witch is because they're all alone. They got nothing. They got nobody. They don't even have animals they can trust. It's like, at least if they had some fur friends, they can feel good about life. They can't even trust the animals because of Black Phillip dancing around, hanging out with the twins, and they're singing a song while they're eating bread or whatever. It's like it just sucks. So I'm gonna edge it out to the witch, but it's tough, man, because for real, Hereditary, bro. It's like if you go to Vegas and you just keep losing, and you got your last bit of money, and that you gotta put it on the table, and you're gonna lose. And how does that feel inside? You're just a loser. That's what Hereditary is like.
Wow.
You're just a loser. Peter just feels like a loser. That's what it is. So, all right.
Remember when this show used to be nothing but easy streets for us?
Yeah. This is what happens when you have three great movies.
Yeah. That's what a triple threat brings, man. Real quick, just to say hey to our man Dan. What's up, man? Mr. Dan and Horror in the house. Great to have you here, man. Thank you so much for being here, bro. This is a fun conversation. Let's see. And Mary sending out some well wishes. If you're a mom, happy Mother's Day. Even if you're just an animal's mama, that's right. I'm just a dog mama, but a proud one. That's right. So definitely happy Mother's Day. That's right. And thank you, Dan, for well wishes and happy Mother's Day. Thank you for that. And hey, we got Gina coming in with a super chat. And Gina, thank you so much, saying I'm going to catch the replay, very tired. Happy Mother's Day to you too, Gina, with Ziggy. Give Ziggy some hugs for us. And also, I just want to say, Gina, thank you so much for your support. Gina, join our Patreon. And look, like I said, it's so appreciated. And Gina's been with us for a long time, always in the live streams. But also, I just want to say, and I was going to wait to do this, but I also want to give a shout out because, and I don't know if you guys know this, Eric or Kill, but YouTube, you know, the YouTube studio, it shows analytics and so forth. This actually works out very well. And if Gina, if you're gone, you'll see this on the replay. But I just want to give a shout out because it gives us certain stats. And one of the stats that it gives is comments. Okay.
Yes, I know you're
and I just want to give a shout out because there's two people that just got to give a little love to. And one of them is Gina. And if I remember correctly, it's like 640 comments. It's like ridiculous amount. It's absolutely ridiculous, you know, over the course of all the time that she's been here. And there's only one person ahead of her, and that's our brother Eric at like 750. Look, I just want to say, man, you know, thank you very much. We appreciate that. And a lot of you guys in this chat have really high numbers too. So thank you very much. But Gina, hope you get some rest. And if you're watching this on replay, much love.
Yeah, I want to give Gina a personal shout out too, because we as a content creator, you know, we all have our regulars, as I like to call them, the people we always know that will watch them and leave a comment. Gina's usually always the first to leave a comment. And no matter what the video is, whether it's something that, you know, something that I don't think that she's interested in. Like right now I'm discussing Marvel movies. Gina's still commenting on them. She says, I'm not a fan of this one, but you know what? She still sits down and watches the video and will say something. So my appreciation to them as well.
Yep, absolutely, man. So thank you guys so much. And everyone else who leaves comments. It's a really cool thing. Thank you so much. So let's go to our next thing, and that's atmosphere. Eric, when you talk about atmosphere in a film, which of these movies has the best?
Gosh, I think I'm gonna go with Hereditary because its atmosphere does its job more. And even though it sounded like I was kind of bashing it a little bit because there's no breathing room, I said it in a previous category. That's what's needed for this type of film. You need to feel that tightness. You need to feel that intensity. And you need to be on your edge, the edge of your seat, wondering what else can happen to this poor family.
That's right.
That snowball gets bigger and bigger and bigger until the end. And I'm just like, damn, you know what I mean? No disrespect to The Witch. The Witch does it really good. Hereditary for me just does it a little better when we're weighing the scales. You know what I mean? Not by much.
All right. Okay. Very cool. Kill, how about you, man? What do you think?
I like the atmosphere of all of these movies.
Yes.
Malignant, the way Seattle is shot, it feels wet. It feels, you know, urban sprawl. The underground is amazing. Like, you know, the fight sequences through there. In Hereditary, you know, Eric, you said it best earlier. It doesn't really let you breathe. It stays on you. It oppresses you. And wait. And just the eeriness of what this family is going through. With all that being said, I got to go with The Witch because it does oppress you. It does scare you. It's wet. It's cold. It's frightening. And the atmosphere in this movie is anybody can die at any time, even a small, innocent, cute baby. And that's a no-no in Hollywood. And they're just like, with the quickness, hey, this is what you're in for. You sure you want to stay on this train?
Right.
And just I'm a sucker for the period piece, you know, a good period piece horror flick that's shot well, and you can just feel the weather that's going on there. Start to finish, you know, just great choices. No disrespect to any of these movies, but it's close. But I'm going with The Witch.
All right. You know, for me, I think all three of these movies have good atmosphere, but in my opinion, although they're all good, I don't feel as though it's close in a way, because the one I'm gonna pick, it just the whole damn movie, like if anything, that's like, I don't want to say its strongest point, but it's such a damn strong point. You can't escape it whatsoever, and it's got to be The Witch. I mean, look, man, when I first saw that movie, it's so damn dreary. There's only like, I think, if I remember when I did some research on it, it's only like 2 scenes where you have any real sunlight. Everything is just dingy and just dreary. You know what I'm saying? Where they live, in the forest. When Homeboy went into the forest looking for the dog and comes up on the witch's home, it's like, bro, you're in the wrong fucking place, bro. Look, I love dogs too, but sometimes you got to make a choice,
But he saw the pretty young witch.
Yeah, and look, it was the wrong time for him to be a young boy trying to become a man. That's all I gotta say.
Yes, it was the
wrong time. You would have been better off watching some movies, bro, because this was not your time. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, man, he wanted to live deliciously.
He did. Right. It was the wrong time, bro. Wait a couple weeks. You know what I'm saying? But no, the atmosphere is so good in The Witch. I mean, like everything about it, the way it's shot, Robert wanted to use natural light. So inside, it's all, light that's coming inside of where they're at. They built those, the home structure. You have candlelight inside. There's no artificial light, and it was just all creating this atmosphere that you just don't normally get in a movie. It has, for me anyways, it has to win. And Malignant has amazing atmosphere, and Hereditary as well. But again, Robert, boy, I'm telling you, man's got some issues, but he's a great director.
You need that on the poster of his next film. Man's got some issues, but he's a great director.
Yeah, he takes his time. You know what I'm saying? Just building up a movie from the ground up, literally. He doesn't want to use sound stages. He doesn't want to use a lot of artificial things. He built for the lighthouse. He built that shit. They built that shit.
Really?
So what are we doing? Can you go to some places and help some of the homeless people and build some nice places to live? Because you got that eye for stuff. You know what I mean? So anyways, I'm ranting because I think the atmosphere in The Witch is just so amazing. Seriously. Okay. Real quick in the chat. Let's see. Hey, we got Happy in the house. Happy Sandra. What's up, man? Also with a channel member anniversary, 10 months, 2 months from 1 year. That's how we do math around here. Saying much love to everyone. Thank you so much, man. We appreciate that. And let's do this because, I've been waiting to do this. And Happy, we want to celebrate the channel member anniversary. And also Gina, much love to Gina, sending in that super chat. We appreciate it. It helps out a lot, especially at this particular time. And Kill, sometimes just when you think that you don't have anyone around, you might find somebody if you ask the right way. And it might sound like this.
If you don't know me, you will never, never, never know. Meow. If you don't know me, you will never, never, never know.
Kill. He's starting to take his head and put it down.
What are we doing? Look, you take cute, cuddly kittens, and you take a great song and you bastardize it together. Like, what are we doing? Night, I know I've said this time and time again, guys in the chat. We have no idea what Night is going to show us. We don't really even know where Night finds this stuff. But
I don't want to know.
Why, Night? Why?
Hey, look.
You could have put on Tony the Tiger again, or Mr. T.
Candy cane sniffer.
Listen.
Yeah. Oh, I love that one. That's great for the holidays. I mean, come on, Night.
Can I say something, man? I was waiting, and thanks, Gina, for sending in the super chat. I was waiting for
thanks, Gina.
a chance to play it, and of course, happy with the anniversary. I was waiting so much because Eric, I know you had seen that one, but I was waiting to see what Kill was going to do. If you guys could have seen his reaction, that's the money of it all. Because I can see you guys, you know, in your spots while the video is playing, and Kill's just going like this. And he's like,
I did do that. I did do that. I was about to take my glasses off and fling him. Like, what are you doing?
oh my God. That's what you get here at the Nightwatch Zone, you know, and yeah. Hey, look, Gina's still here. she says, "Okay, you stopped me from falling asleep." That's one cat Ziggy would attack.
Good Ziggy.
Poor Gina doesn't want to dream of that shit. That's why they're still awake.
Nightmare fuel. All right.
Oh man.
Remember when I said it was good to be back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Whew.
Yeah, okay.
Oh man, the look, and of course Eric is just sitting there doing the classic Eric shake. It's just like, oh, Rachel says, "Well, I can never unsee that." That's right.
I really don't want to. I really don't want to see your search history, bro. I really.
and I want to say this, and she wouldn't mind me saying this. That actually was from Coriander. That was so you guys can thank Coriander when she comes back.
Yeah, throw her under the bus when she's not here to defend herself.
Okay. Hey, well, I did it last night too, man. Last night too. It's great. Super Tenor also sends some good ones sometimes, dude. Everybody's working together, you know, and it's like a family. And I love it. It's very cool.
Well, I appreciate that the whole community of the Nightwatch Zone can send you these fucked up videos for me and Kill.
Right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks. Mayanne, thank you so much for helping out in the chat, saying we are at 26 likes. Did you hit the like button? Thank you very much. Yeah, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. We appreciate the support. It definitely helps us out. And we also got Eric's link in the chat. Thanks, May. And of course, we have it in so many of our content across the channel itself. So definitely make sure if you're not subscribed to Eric, do that immediately.
Thank you. Yes. Interesting stuff this month. It's Marvelous May. I'm discussing Marvel movies that are not part of the MCU. So I just uploaded
the Punisher.
The Dolph Lundgren Punisher. Warzone is getting uploaded. I'm doing the Blade trilogy. And then I'm doing some old school TV movies as well. David Hasselhoff as Nick Fury.
Yeah, I remember that. The Hoff. Yes.
And I'm doing Generation X. It was a X-Men spinoff in the 90s. And I'm doing the trilogy night. I know you're a fan, the Incredible Hulk TV movie trilogy.
Yes, so bro.
It's gonna
I'm gonna have to bring
palate cleanser from the horror. I thought let's throw some cheese in there. It'll be a lot of fun.
Right. I'm gonna have to bring some tissues with that one, man. Because Kill, you know, we were big fans of Bill Bixby and Lou. Come on. That was one of my favorite shows ever. You know, I could rant about that all night.
Thanks, man. It's gonna be
cool. Absolutely cool. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun. And those, let me ask you this: how like with Generation X, right?
Mm-hmm.
How did you get a hold of that? Did you like find that on?
It's on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
Okay, all right.
And I've only found one copy. I haven't seen it since I was in high school, so I'm spoilers. I'm pretty sure it's still going to be just as bad when the lead character is Jubilee and they're fighting Matt Frewer as a Freddy Krueger wannabe dream thing.
I forgot about that. Oh my gosh!
I wanted to do something that's not the norm. I didn't want to do Logan, Days of Future Past. I'm like, let's get some obscure stuff and some TV movies. And David Hasselhoff in his cheesiest as Nick Fury with the eye patch and everything. I gotta
admit, he looked good as him though. Like as a kid, and I was a big fan of Knight Rider, so I gave the Hoff a pass on almost everything. You know what I mean? He could literally do whatever, and I was like, yeah, I'll watch it to see if it's any good. Hey, real quick, hey, Russell, shout out to Russell, said loved Incredible Hulk, Bill Bixby, and Lou Ferrigno, an awesome TV series. It was. It was one of the best of all time. And look, who would ever thought we'd talk about MCU stuff here? Because YouTube just keeps us in a certain lane. But real quick, Rachel says, man, I hate that they canonically made X-Men a part of the MCU. Ooh, she was like, I was like, no, leave my 2000s X-Men alone. She does not want Avengers versus X-Men. There you go.
All I'm gonna say is those movies still exist, so don't worry, and just keep your fingers crossed. I'm hopeful. We'll see.
Yeah, Kill. What do you think of that?
I'm optimistic. I'll wait and see. But Eric, I do have one question. Did you ever see? It's newer, but it's not canon. The New Mutants.
That is actually going to be one of the movies I'm going to discuss, because the first time I watched it, I didn't like it. The second time I watched it, I thought it was a lot better, and I'm going to go hopefully third time's a charm, because I know what I'm getting into. It's not air quotes an X-Men movie, if that makes any sense. So
I actually liked it, and Anna Taylor-Joy is in it, and it's X-Men / the horror. Right. There are some elements, light horror, but it's not that bad. But it's definitely a forgotten gem.
Yep. And Rachel said, "What I really want is a decent Dark Phoenix." Well, I'll tell you what. I have faith that the MCU could do a much better job than whatever they attempted with that last Fox film.
Yeah,
it was ridiculous. But anyways, yeah. So hopeful. All right. Let's go to our next category, which will be the music, Eric. The music or the scores in the film. Who gets the point and why?
Oh, this is tough. Honestly, because I don't remember too much of the music. It's been a few days since I've watched the films, and nothing really stuck with me. Maybe Hereditary, because again, I do know those little pieces of music that help with the dread. So I mean, it's a lame answer, but I'm just gonna go with Hereditary because I just remember little bits and pieces.
Okay, all right.
This is honestly with every episode of Battle World, this is my hardest category. It really is. So, but
it can be, yeah, because I think sometimes with a score, depending on how invested you are in what you're watching, it makes a difference for you, and sometimes it doesn't. Like there's sometimes when a score, it can be a good score, but you don't really pay attention to it as much because I'm maybe invested
on what's actually really happening on screen.
Yeah, exactly. Almost similar to sometimes, if you're watching a movie with subtitles, and sometimes you can kind of get lost in that and you miss details in the visual. You know what I'm saying? So it's interesting stuff, man. Kill, how about you? What do you think?
I think you know my answer. This is an easy street for me. I own this soundtrack on vinyl, and you know how you can tell how music will stand out? If you're a devout religious family that doesn't talk a lot, that music stands out, baby. I'm going with The Witch. The Witch soundtrack is creepy as hell. It's beautiful. It's haunting. It's great Halloween background music for the trick-or-treaters. They're not going to want to come to your house when they hear some of that music coming through a speaker. Like,
hey, if you don't have any candy, this is what you want to play so they don't come to your door.
Yeah, they won't egg your house. They'll be too afraid. They're like, what is that? Like, I don't, but no, seriously, guys, if you have like Spotify or something or whatever music, thing you use, check it out. It's a great soundtrack and it will stick with you. No disrespect to Hereditary soundtrack, that's also really done well, and even the soundtrack in Malignant, especially like those opening scenes in the hospital and so forth. Very awesome stuff. But The Witch is just haunting, and it just goes so well with the environment and the cinematography and just that whole world. So
Yep. Agreed. I got to go with The Witch as well. And I think that, again, this is a movie. And I think that for this movie, the score, it kind of goes hand in hand with the atmosphere. It really plays along with the atmosphere, being remote, the claustrophobia, even though, they're not held within their house only, but it feels so claustrophobic because it's not like they can really go anywhere. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. And the music plays into that. There are points in the film where the score is like, it's almost like it's like it hypnotizes you in a way. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just about to say that at the end, when Anna finally makes that decision and she's frolicking, the music does this subtle thing where it's like, it is like what? And as she's floating, it's haunting. it's haunting stuff.
It is, man. It is. You know, I mean, I think that it kind of, like, when I watched it, I was really fortunate, and I was saying this last night, and this is just my opinion, guys, but I've found it. Look, I've watched a lot of movies in my life, you know, but just speaking as a content creator, because obviously we watch a lot of movies, not just because, you know, we enjoy them, but for obviously shows. And I've found that you want to set yourself up the right way. We were talking about Just Before Dawn last night, and how Coriander and I, when we watched that for Slasher Movie Club, first time we watched it, you know, it was late. It was like a late Friday night. We were both tired, you know, had done a lot of stuff all day. We put it in. We just didn't vibe with it. We're like, you know, and we didn't even finish it. We got about a third of the way in. And then Saturday came, and obviously we had been well rested. And I said, well, we got to watch this thing. We're going to be talking about it on Monday night. I don't know this movie. We have got to watch it. And she was like, yeah, you're right. So we put it on. Totally different scenario. And we loved it, and still love it to this day. I know why I'm saying this is, I know I'm ranting, but the reason I'm saying this is because I was really lucky with The Witch and with Hereditary. I watched it when I was well rested, but it was also like a dark night, and I was totally focused. And of course, both of those movies, as well as Malignant, they all pull you in. The thing about The Witch, that music kind of chilled my bones in a way. I know that sounds weird or hokey, but it's so true. There were times when the music alone was just creeping me the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? And like you said too, Kill, at the end, man, when she makes the choice and, you know, hey, home team won, and it's like, oh shit, you know, all these things coming together, and the music, it just kind of, it's like you're going up on this roller coaster, and you know, when you go over that hill and go down, you're never gonna come back. You're like going straight to hell. That's what the music felt like. So anyways, cool stuff. And like you said, and like Kill said, check it out on Spotify or whatever music service you have, if you can. Even on YouTube, I'm sure they've got snippets of it and stuff. It's really good stuff. Okay, Super Tenor was going with Malignant for the music. Yeah, absolutely. I just think it's good stuff. I enjoyed that giallo type of vibe that James was going with, you know. So Malignant was really good music as well. Mary said music for The Witch for me works super for the story and atmosphere. Agreed. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Very
that's
well
just
said.
like I said. That's just sometimes a problem I have when I'm so focused of what's happening on the screen. You know, I don't pay attention to the musical score, which, you know, it's, you know, not a good thing sometimes when, you know, doing these types of videos. But sometimes, man, just the performances and the story just overtake it for me.
Yeah. Yep, I hear you, man. It makes sense. All right, so let's go to our next category, and that is the acting. The acting. Eric, who gets the point?
Man,
I know, right?
Again, I'm gonna go with Hereditary, and again, it's no disrespect to The Witch or poor Malignant that's kind of get his ass handed to it. You know,
right?
And it's not just based on Toni Collette. She's the standout. She should have gotten at least a nomination, and she didn't. But, you know, we're getting there, I think. We're getting there with, like, the substance and stuff like that. But just the fact that, you know, Demi Moore was nominated for, like, a comedy or musical instead of horror, that's still... We still got a long ways to go with that bull crap. Anyways, but Toni was so good. The actor who played Peter was so good.
Yeah.
The actress who played Charlie, for what little she did, her show was more like body language, I think.
Yeah.
She did really well. Everyone was good. Poor Gabriel Byrne is always forgotten about when it comes to this movie, but it's Gabriel freaking Byrne. You know what I mean? Whether it's something great like this or some, you know, End of Days when he's the devil, he's still good, or even something stupid like Cool World. He's always great. So he brings that, or, you know, one of my favorites is Ghost Ship. He's great in that. He can bring that bit of that little bit of class, the little snarkiness. But in this, it's a totally different role, and I feel bad for him because his marriage is crumbling. He's also lost a child too. You got to remember that. That's the thing. He seems to be forgotten, and it's just so good. The lady who was doing the Ouija board and stuff like that, she was good at being spooky and scary. Yeah. It's just It's I've said enough. It's just so good. Hereditary.
Okay, Kill. How about you, man?
You know, all three have great acting. And yeah, I've talked time and time again how like the family in The Witch, Anya, Ray, the mother. I can never remember that actress.
Katie
her name.
Dickey.
Yeah,
Kate Dickey.
And we did not plan to have this battle world with some of these questionable moms on Mother's Day. Like, that was not lost on me.
I just now realized that. Wow.
Yeah, it was not lost on me. You know, she's a questionable mom in that. I mean, Toni Collette's mom is questionable, and then Toni Collette herself is
right?
Yeah. Annabelle's mom, she did the best she could, so she's the only one that's like, you're cool, you're crazy, you're crazy, you're cool, you know. But as far as acting, I'm gonna give this one to Hereditary. What Toni does and how she just, you know, did not receive the credit that she deserves, that we all know she deserves for her role in this. She's a great actress. She's been a great actress. Shouts out to United States of Terror. You know, she always knocks it out of the park no matter what she does. And you feel it. And Gabriel Byrne, anytime I see him, I'm just like, are you playing Lucifer in this one? It seems like you're really good at playing Lucifer. I don't know why, you know, but in this one, he's like the straight man. And I'm like, Gabriel Byrne is the straight man. He's not the villain. You know, he's the dad trying to hold it all together. But all the actors did great jobs in Hereditary and in all three of these movies, but Hereditary definitely stands out. So
all right, you know, for me, again, this is, you know, all three movies, some great acting, you know, and different characters have great moments consistently throughout these films. But at the end of the day, for me anyways, there's only one answer, and it's Hereditary. I mean, I'm not saying it wasn't close, but I just knew it's got to go to this, because I'm just my opinion. I think Tony's performance is just one of the best performances I've seen in a long time. Like overall, there's some that been close, you know what I'm saying? Like we've talked even recently on Battle World, you know, we've talked about Smile and stuff like that. And, you know, these, especially actresses, there's a lot of actresses that have just been showing this range and this spectrum of emotional intensity. That's just absolutely
going back to Demi Moore and The Substance, dude.
That's right. She was just so good in it, you know? So it's good to see that. Because I think it also shows how horror it's becoming just more and more in the public, you know, view, and people are recognizing that, hey, if you're in a horror film, that doesn't mean that you're not a good actor. You know what I'm saying? We still got a long way to go, like you said, Eric, but I'm just saying we're moving, you know, in a direction that is really cool to see. And like I said, I think Tony's performance alone is enough for Hereditary to win. I mean, like you guys said, Gabriel Byrne was amazing. And I think that Millie Shapiro, who played Charlie, I thought she was great. A lot of physical things that she was able to do. Like she just had a natural charisma. Alex Wolff was amazing, bro. I mean, you know the scene I'm talking about. When I saw that and I watched it alone, Dark Knight, I felt chilled. Like when he was just stuck, just looking forward, that's how I felt. That's, you know, I was connecting to that. So to me, Hereditary has to get the point for acting.
It just sucks that horror films do have this bad stigma about them. And I understand, you know, because when you want to get in the business, you always got to start out in a horror movie, you know, but there's more to horror movies than slashers, than ghosts and goblins, leprechauns, you know, all this type of, you know, lack of a better term and no disrespect, lame and goofy shit. You know what I mean? There's more to it. And I think movies like The Witch, like Hereditary, like The Substance, it's helping push horror, because there's some fucked up shit in The Substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's nominated for an Oscar, for multiple Oscars. We're getting in that right direction. And these type of films, I guess it's elevated horror, if you want to use that term. However you look at it, it's pushing it in the right direction. We're getting there. We're not there yet. But there should be its own horror category or suspense category or something like that. Not stupid comedies and musicals. I'm sorry, there's nothing funny about the substance. You know what I mean?
Right?
But
Yeah.
we're getting there, and it sucks that it's always got this stigma of cheesiness, being stupid, anybody can make a type of film.
Yeah. Yep. And again, and what's interesting, and I don't want to rant about it, but I just want to say this. What's interesting though is that it's been proven time and time again over the decades that horror can be very special, and it can be something that's intelligent and have something to say and so forth. We can go all the way back to the old school days, you know what I'm saying? Even back in the 50s, hell, even Universal, you know what I'm saying? But if you want to get somewhat more modern, look, everyone respects Hitchcock, right? Psycho, Anthony, what he was able to do. Anthony Perkins is an icon. So like it has respect, but yet it doesn't, which is really weird. You look at The Exorcist, you look at what TCM did, you look at what Wes Craven has done, you look at what Carpenter has done, you look at The Shining and all the accolades, or I should say the positive that it got, as far as being one of the scariest movies of all time, all that type of stuff. Silence of the Lambs, winning Academy Awards. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just interesting how it can have respect, but yet it doesn't. But at least we are moving forward, slowly, way too slow, but we're moving. And so I just hope that it gets to that point. It'd be nice to see, our kids, someday, especially if they're big into horror, they can watch the Academy Awards and have that respect for horror movies that they love,
It's just tough, for every Silence of the Lambs or a Hereditary or, Toni Collette's Sixth Sense, we have 15 puppet masters, 6 leprechauns to kind of bring us back down. You know what I mean? And there's nothing wrong with loving those films. So don't get me wrong, the chat or anyone listening, there's nothing wrong with loving those films.
Absolutely.
But there is a stigma with the cheesiness, the goofiness, air quotes, stupid. I'm not calling, the viewers who enjoy that stuff stupid, but I think you know what I mean by using that term when it comes to award nominations. For every Psycho, there's, Hellraiser Bloodline night. You know what I mean?
That's right. You know it. Real quick too in the chat. We got Sticky in the house. What's up? Saying not many movies have actually scared me as an adult. Hereditary is one that got me. There you go, man. It definitely creeped me out as well. Let's see. Master Cassilia is saying, I thought about Hereditary for 2 weeks after I saw it. It effed me up. There you go. It stuck with me too, man. May saying, going to sleep after watching Hereditary was rough. There you go. And Doom stepping up for the Leprechaun, saying Leprechaun was awesome. There you go. There you go.
Nothing wrong with that.
Shout out to Warwick Davis. Mayan says we're at 30 likes. Thank you so much for keeping an eye on that, man. We appreciate you. Definitely, if you haven't hit the like button, please do. Thank you so much. We appreciate that. And Mary talking about Hereditary for acting. Tony was amazing. Yeah, I mean, it was rawest acting. It really was, man. Like, and another thing I want to say too, because we had talked about the acting category throughout the film, bro. I just felt so bad for her. She had those moments like when she was at the anonymous meeting and she's telling her story, and you just see someone that's getting beat down in life. You know what I'm saying? It just the past that she has and the present that she's dealing with and the future that is possible. It's like, bro, the scoreboard doesn't look good for you. And you just feel bad for her. And her acting gets you to feel like that, So shout out to Tony. Okay, we're almost there, guys. Next up, you knew we'd get here sooner or later. When we talk about characters, our 3 main leads, we've got Annie, Madison or Maddie, and Thomason. Which character gets your point? Eric, who do you think?
I think, you know what? As much as we just praised Toni Collette, I hate going against her. I'm going to go Thomason and Anya Taylor-Joy. And the reason why is I don't know Anya's age, but there is and this isn't disrespectful to Toni, there is a difference, and I only see Anya getting better. I think her performance is just a little light, seeing what's to come from this actress, and she does such a good job. I don't want to say with so little, you know what I mean? But she does a really good job with what she's given, and plus the period piece. Seeing her family turn against her, and then at the end, like Kill says, let's go live deliciously and float in the air, type of thing. I buy it. You understand why she does it. I feel for Toni Collette's character, but I understand the character of Thomason. You know what I mean? If that makes sense. So I'm gonna go with her.
Okay, Kill, how about you?
All three of these protagonists did great jobs. I'm going Thomason. Because out of these characters, she is a teenager. She's, I'm not exactly how young she is. I'm assuming maybe like 16, 17, 18, somewhere in that corridor.
Yeah.
Out in the wilderness, living a harsh life, obviously, because it's a period piece. Very devoutly religious, devout family. And one after another with this family, they turn on her and think that she is something else when she is not. To the point where at the end, the only person that still believes in her is the one that wants to.
Oh, did he cut out?
I think Black Phillip got him. I think he froze up.
You guys always some of the stuff you guys say. Oh man. All right. So he went with Thomason. Hopefully he'll it could be his Wi-Fi or whatever.
Yeah.
All right. So for me, this is really tough, man, because I think, look, these three characters, they're doing different things. And I think all three of these actresses were great in their roles and as far as what they were asked to do. This is crazy. I'm actually going to go with Madison on this one.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you why. I really connected with her. And I think Annabelle was really good in this role. She's a person that obviously had been dealing with an interesting past. I won't get too deep into spoilers per se, but an interesting past. And then, going into this whole idea of the mystery of the murders and that she can see the murders, but she can't do anything. And it was just like every time those scenes came up, I was just transfixed. I was like, oh, and of course at the end, we get the X-Men situation, and it was just awesome seeing Xavier do what Xavier could really do. If you know, you know.
Yep.
All right, Kill's back. What's up, man?
Sorry about that.
No problem. So yeah, I just thought that she was amazing in the role as well as the other two. But I don't know, man. I'm just gonna go with her. Kill, did you want to finish anything that you were saying? Because you had gotten cut off shortly after.
No, just Thomason. She just went through so much and at such a young age, and literally, having no place to go other than to, make a deal.
Bust the deal, spin the wheel. All right. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next category. We're almost there. Man, it's like my casters are flabbered. Jeez, she's too funny. All right. The two best kills or the two best deaths. Okay. So we're giving 2 points, and it could be to only one film, or it could be to obviously two different films. Eric, when you think about the two best kills or the two best deaths, who gets the points?
I can't help but give them both points to Hereditary.
Ooh, okay.
Because they stick with me. I love all three of these films. Love them all for their own reasons. But if we're talking about best kills, it's usually something that sticks with you. Why is it the best kill for you? Charlie, that's how we start out the first 20 minutes. We think it's a peanut allergy. And then when she sticks her head out the window to cool down.
Don't do that, kids.
Exactly. And then Toni Collette. Need I say more?
Okay.
I'll keep it. That's a little bit of a spoiler. Again, coming to the chat, you watch these films that we do with Battle Worlds, you do take the chance with the spoiler, but I'll keep that as brief as possible.
Okay.
If you know, you know.
All right. Kill, how about you, man?
I'm choosing mine also based off of kind of like, oh shit, like it catching me off guard and sticking with me. But I'm splitting the difference. I'm doing one from The Witch and one from Hereditary. I'm doing the Charlie one. Obviously not that it's the best kill, because that's not, that's not the word I want to use for it, but it sticks with you and it catches you so off guard, and and memorable and sad. So I'm going with that one. And then just because once again wasn't expecting it, I'm going with Black Phillip and the dad. When he just kind of impales the dad. I wasn't expecting it. He's been around, the twins have been playing with him, making fun of him, being assholes to him, and he's just like, I've had enough. And he just says, I'm gonna go against the biggest guy in the yard. I'm going to get after the dad. And it's like, whoa. So I got to go with those two because of just how they mainly caught me off guard.
Okay. All right. Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'm actually surprised. Look, one of them for me, anyways, has to be Charlie, because look, that was just banana. That was banana pancakes, bro. When I saw that, it was so messed up that when it happened, I almost didn't believe it, because the way that Ari Aster shot it, because it like bing, and you're like, wait a minute, what? And I was like, wait a minute, what? And Peter slams on the brakes and the car skids to a stop, and Alex Wolff was great in this scene, and it's like he is reacting the same way, kind of like, did that shit just happen? And he's like all fucked up in his eyes, and he starts to glance at that rear view mirror just barely, and it's like, whoop, and he turns away from it, and it's like, oh shit, you know what I'm saying? Like that kill, to this day, it just messes me up.
I don't mean to step on you, but one thing that drove that for me as well, what Aster does, is the after effect.
Yeah.
Not just when Toni Collette finds the body in the back of the car. It's just he didn't have to, but he put in that one shot of Charlie's head covered in the flies and the bugs and stuff, and just like that just makes it worse, at least for me. So
it was just rough, man. It was like, oh my gosh. But my second point, and this one is like for real, it's got to go to Malignant, bro. When it was time to become an X-Man in the jail, it was like, bro, like, let the bodies hit the floor. It's like, what is going on? I mean, this was like beyond Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris combined. Like, Madison is, or I should say Gabriel is taking them out. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that was just bonkers crazy. Every time I see it, I'm just like, what are we? James Wan, you are having so much fun with this fucking movie, and I'm glad you are. You deserve this, my man. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Malignant for my second point. Okay, now we're gonna catch up to the chat a little bit, because I know I haven't been there, and Rachel's like, yes, Night. Yes, there you go. It had to be. That jailhouse scene was ridiculously amazing. May saying James Wan is the GOAT. Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Let's see. Master Casilli is saying, I put myself into movies, and that whole scene turned my stomach. I know, man. It really, really did. I mean, holy shit. It really did. Not gonna lie. Okay. Hey, we got Nightfall in the house with a channel member anniversary. 22 months to Big 2-2. All right. Thank you so much, brother. We appreciate you. I hope you're doing well tonight. Saying hello, Night Watch family. Happy Mother's Day to all of you wonderful mothers. Absolutely, man. Absolutely. And hope you're doing well. Okay. All right. Next up, let's go to our next category, Eric. We're almost at the end, guys. And again, if you want to put points to the movie of your choice that you want to win, this is the time to do it. We've got the oh shit factor. Okay. In this category, which movie overall gives you the bigger oh shit factor? When you watch it just from A to Z, which movie wins that oh shit factor? Eric, let's start with you.
This is tough. Because they all have it, but I always go by the way you word it, and you're wording it as the movie as a whole.
Yes. Yep.
I'm going with Hereditary, because again, from like with the category we said with the story, A to Z, that snowball is getting bigger and bigger going down that mountain.
Mm-hmm.
And I've said it before whenever we've discussed Hereditary on this channel, whether it's Battleworld or not, of these three, Hereditary is the only one that got me yelling at my television because of what was going on.
Yeah.
And I literally said, oh shit. So that also fits for the category. But of these three, if a movie can make me do that, like, you know, Sisters has, or a couple other films that we've discussed, it's got to win. Yeah, Hereditary had me yelling at my TV because of where we're going with everything.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Okay. All right. And also, just to remind you guys, now we also have on our Patreon, if you go to our Patreon, we do have a poll up, and we do have a category coming up next where those points will be counted officially here. So if you haven't checked it out, and I have put the link into the chat, and I will do it again once we get done with this category. I believe it's the next one up. But if you go to the Patreon, you can vote and actually put your vote in, and it will count tonight in the next category. I believe it's the next category. So check that out. This is something that we have for the folks that are on our Patreon platform and so forth. So Kel, what about you? Oh shit factor. Who gets the point?
Well, just like Eric said, if you're counting the totality of the entire movie, I'm going with Hereditary. If you were counting just a scene or something that happens, I might have leaned more to like the Black Phillip reveal at the end, because that the first time I saw that was creepy, and it was like, oh crap, because the whole time you're watching this, you're wondering, all right, I see witches. Am I going to see anything? Is there something else going on? And what's going on with Black Phillip? And, you know, why did he just kill the dad? And, you know, and then they kind of show you like, oh, goodness, the whole time he was evil. But in totality, Hereditary, start to finish, is a oh shit moment. You know, whether it's just deaths that hit you out of no place, people crawling on the wall, like just randomly, just random weird stuff, random naked people. Just
that was my moment of yelling at the TV, seeing Toni Collette up on the wall.
Right?
Yeah, just
you're random, like, you're not Peter Parker. Get down.
You know,
Peter's pissed.
Random outbreaks of just, okay, is she going crazy? You know, that face. Stop looking at me with that face.
I know.
Like, oh, he did have a face, but you were the only one that saw it.
He did. Well, yeah.
You know, so and once again, it makes the rewatch so interesting because every time I watch Hereditary, I see something else new.
Yes.
I see extra things, or oh, is that a payment statue there? Or oh, that guy was in the background, or oh, that was in the mirror, or like, you know, it's just so many things. And
took me a couple of viewings to notice the light. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's a lot to it. And yes, I'm going for Hereditary.
Okay. All right, man. Now look, this is a tough one. Okay. Because I think all three movies have a high factor, have a very high oh shit factor. But I'm gonna tell you guys, as much as I echo some of what you guys said, my point has to go to Malignant. And I'm gonna tell you why. From Jump Street, what are we doing, James? I'm ready to go into a haunted house, see a couple of ghosts winking and smiling. We'll investigate it. We'll figure it out. And James is like, nope, we're gonna have some fun with this. And it's a mystery. It presents itself like a giallo film. And again, for a lot of you guys that are here, I know that, you know, you guys may not be as familiar with those films, a lot of the Italian horror. We've talked about it on this channel quite a bit. I don't think it's as much of a popular thing, which is a little disappointing, but it is what it is. There's some great stuff as far as Italian horror out there. Argento, Fulci, Bava, you can go on and on and on. And James Wan took that inspiration from the Italian horror, from the giallos, and he said, okay, now I'm going to put it together, add my own identity into it, and we're going to do something that makes you think that's what this is. Of course, the whole thing with Gabriel, that whole reveal. When I watched it with Coriander, I don't know, we were about halfway through it or whatever when we had the parkour scene, when we became John Wick and we were doing parkour and martial arts. And I'm like, what are we doing? I said, how does he move like that? Because you know me as a martial artist, I'm looking at Gabriel, how he's moving. I'm like, this doesn't look right. And when you watch it that first time and you don't know the spoilers, your eyes kind of play tricks on you. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, it just doesn't look right. Something's weird, you know? And then when we get to the reveal, I looked over at Coriander. She looked at me. We were like, what?
Yep.
This is fucked up. We were talking about it for minutes.
And it works. That's the thing.
It works. So even though The Witch has moments like that, and overall it does too, and definitely Hereditary. To me, Hereditary would be second place. And it's I don't want to say it's close, but it's, you know, I have to think about it. But overall with Malignant, how James Wan had all these layers hidden under the identity of a murder mystery. I was just like, man, James, you can do anything. James needs to work in the MCU and get the ship right. You know, he could do anything. So I'm going with Malignant on that, because to this day, it's one of two movies. Well, maybe three, but two movies for sure in the last 6 years that Coriander and I watched, and we both were just like, what the fuck? And it just sticks out as a memory, like a really fun memory, because the movie fooled us. And it was like bonkers crazy. So, all right.
One can do action, man. I mean, and I'm not just talking about, you mentioned MCU. I'm not just talking about Aquaman. You know what I mean?
Fast and Furious.
I keep telling people, watch the Kevin Bacon movie Death Sentence with him.
Yeah.
You know, the gunfight that man is able to direct in that movie.
Yeah.
Ooh, gosh. Nobody has seen it, you know, other than like a select few. Death Sentence is probably my favorite James Wan film. And I love Saw. I love the Conjuring films because, you know, he's got an eye for subtlety and horror. But, man, there's just something about Death Sentence that is fantastic.
It's a good movie.
Agreed. It is. It really is. No doubt about it. No doubt.
Yeah.
And, man, I mean, those are some of the greats, right? Like I said, Fulci is amazing. Argento. And, you know, as time goes on, we're gonna still try to talk about them and get people on board. Because, listen, and that comes from someone that didn't watch a lot of foreign horror myself, you know, especially growing up, and we watched some, you know, we watched some of that stuff, but especially once I got to be a content creator, and I want to give credit where credit's due, because Coriander has watched a lot of foreign horror and got me on board with a lot of that stuff. It's some great stuff out there, and it's like the cool part about it too, especially some of the films that are in the 80s, it's kind of cool to still have stuff that I have no clue what's going on and still get some of those authentic 80s vibes, because that's when it was made. You know what I'm saying? So it's some really good stuff.
Really I still need you to watch more Asian horror.
That's true. That is so true. Korean horror, Japanese
Audition.
Yes.
Ringu.
Yep.
I'm not doing Audition, but I did just buy the Arrow Blu-ray of Ringu, which I haven't seen. And last year for my channel, one of the best films that was a first-time watch for me was Train to Busan. So
it's so
Asia
good.
knows how to do horror.
Yeah, they do. Real quick, the sadness too, man. The sadness was brutal.
That's what
they're doing an American version of Train to Busan, Train to New York.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll let it slide. I'll let it be.
If it can be even like, I don't know, 85% of like how the American version of The Ring was, I'm on board, because I like the American version of The Ring.
I'll say this with Train to Busan, because I know I'm going off on tangents too. Sorry about that. But with Train to Busan, as much as I got invested in those characters, I'll keep it as vague as possible. Not gonna lie, man, I cried at the end. I'm man enough to say I cried at the end of Train to Busan.
Well, Eric,
stuff, man.
Now you can watch the prequel, Peninsula.
Oh, that's right,
a prequel.
Peninsula.
Yeah, because essentially you kind of see how the train gets to Busan.
Okay. And Spanish horror, throw it out there, the Wreck films.
Yes.
1, 2, 3. Those are fucking amazing. That's Wreck 1 is one of the other movies other than Hereditary that had me yelling at my TV, watching it in the dark at the end.
Yep.
Nice.
And it's another one of those situations. Rachel's in the other room. You okay? Yeah, babe. horror movie stuff. It's, you know what I mean? But Rec 1, 2, like all 4 of them are good. But Rec, watch it in the dark in its native language. Ooh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Also, When Evil Lurks, bro, did you see that?
Not yet, no.
Oh my god, did you see that, Kill?
No.
Oh my goodness, watch that, man. It was so good. It just came out. Was it 2 years ago? 2, maybe 3.
It's fairly new, yeah.
It's very, very recent, but I had heard, people talking about it. I was like, all right, I got to check this out. Wow. It was so freaking good. So another great foreign horror film. And there's a bunch of others too. So again, guys, you guys get the point. We're ranting.
Mm-hmm.
Just, check out some foreign horror because there's some great gems out there. There really are. Okay, our next category. So we have the votes, or we're going to have the votes from our Patreon platform. We have a list of the 3 movies, and we have basically, you can pick one, and we're going to count it as points for tonight. Okay, so if you have not checked it out, I put the link in the chat. You can go there right now and put in your vote. We also appreciate it. It's really, really cool. Right now, we've got, it looks like 5 votes. We've got 5 votes, and holy moly, it's 80 to 20%. Okay, so look, let's just do this, Eric. As we always do this type of thing, let's give these guys. Let's say we'll give them a minute. I'm gonna put the link back into the chat. Let's have you guys take a vote. We've got it listed. You just pick one of these 3. It's gonna count. We've been also trying to make sure with our Patreon, because we're going to have some exclusive stuff. And on Patreon, on that platform, we can get away with a lot of stuff that we can't on YouTube. We don't have the copyrights bullshit. When we've done watch parties, I've literally played the movie for the folks on Patreon. So you don't even have to rent a movie or worry about having it. I play it, and we're all just watching it. So let's take a little bit of time. If you guys do that, it definitely helps to support us too. We have a chat feature, which is much easier to talk to folks. So check that out, and we'll give you guys a couple seconds, but you can make your vote, and we are going to count it in a couple seconds. Paula, you can go to that link.
Got about 30 seconds left.
It's free. So there's nothing cheaper than free. I mean, if you'd like to help support us, we'd appreciate that, because it really helps us out a lot, because Patreon is a lot nicer to us than YouTube, but it is free. So there's absolutely nothing cheaper than free.
All right. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Call it, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's take a look here. This is going to be interesting. Let's see what we've got. Okay. There we go. We've got 4 votes, and we also have a couple of comments here too. Let me just read these off. Mayan's like Hereditary. Mayan doesn't play around. She's always there. All right. So it looks as though we've got 4 votes for Hereditary. Wow. Okay, guys. All right. So we have got 4 points that is going to Hereditary from our Patreon. Thank you guys again. We appreciate that. And if you haven't, yes, Super Tenor, it's in Patreon. Here's the link. You can still go there and vote. There's some other things I'm going to be doing with that as well for a couple of our streams coming up. But there's the link. You just go in and boom, there we go. All right. And we appreciate that. We really, really do. Okay. That was interesting. All right. Let's see what we have for our next category. We're almost at the end. And again, guys, if you have a film that you want to help support, this is the time to do it. Eric, next up, we're talking about the finale, which of course is the last couple minutes of the film, could be the last 15 minutes of the film. Who gets the point and why?
Okay. All 3 great finales.
Yes.
All 3 different finales.
Yes.
I'm finally going to throw some love to Malignant. When we get all X-Men, John Woo with Gabriel, and oh man, it's so much fun. And sometimes when we have these 3 movies And I don't know how you guys prep, but I do watch all 3 movies.
Yes.
Malignant was a breath of fresh air from how heavy the other 2 films are, especially the finales of Hereditary and The Witch. Done differently. You feel that, what did I just watch? Feeling with those 2. You get that with Malignant, but in a more of a fun way. And that's what I think I need when it comes to these 3. Because I'm going to keep it vague. I know Barb hasn't seen it if she's still in the chat. It's just the scene in the police station, the scene in the hospital. Man, that was just so freaking cool. I was, it's fist pumping, and I needed that after watching the other 2 fucking movies. You know what I mean? So I am showing Malignant some love.
All right. Okay. Kill, how about you?
This is tough. The all 3 have great finales, but I can't deny the police station in Malignant. If we're going from that point on, it definitely the finale paid off. You finally got to see the antagonists and what they could do in their particular set of skills, and it was banana sandwiches all the way. So yeah, I gotta go for Malignant.
It had me feeling like it was a Resident Evil game, or like if you've ever seen Darkness Falls, that police stations. Oh yeah, it was so good. Whew.
Hey, can I say something? Shout out to Liam Neeson too, man. How come those words, the particular set of skills, it always just exactly what we're talking about here. Shout out to Liam. For me, again, the finale for all 3 of these films were great. This is a situation where all 3 films had great openings, great stories throughout, and great finales. I mean, seriously, all 3 of these films are super solid. But I do have to agree with you guys. I got to go with Malignant on this because they just went hard. Yeah. They just said, hey, you know what? We got nothing else to lose. Let's just let it all go. Yeah. And God, did they? I mean, we got Xavier fighting the Crimson King, and the astral plane.
Shadow King.
Shadow King. Yeah. Who's the Crimson King? Isn't there a Crimson King?
That's Dark Tower.
Okay, all right. Look, man, you get the point. You know what I'm talking about. But no, but I mean, look, man, I've been waiting for this. I love X-Men, and that's what we get. And
James Wan just said, F it, let's do it. You know what I mean?
He did. And it was, put it this way, I think the finale gave you so much. It truly did. But I still was like wanting more. I was like, oh my God, yeah, what else could we do? Blah, 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 blah. And it was just, he pulled it off, and I know there are some folks, especially at the time when the movie came out, some folks, they went either left or right. They either were on board with that or they weren't. And I can understand that. That's fine. Me, as well as Coriander, and she really enjoys all these 3 films too, just to say, and she was sorry she couldn't be here tonight. Shout out to the mothers and shout out to Coriander too. But man, this ending was just so cool. So just like Russell said, X-Men for the win, bro. I'm going with Malignant on the finale. It's just awesome. It really is.
Get James Wan to direct that Dark Phoenix movie for Rachel. You know what I'm saying?
Right? James could do it.
Oh yeah, he could.
James can do. He really can do anything. I will say that's the thing about James that I really love so much. He's like the type of guy I know that I could to hang out with and talk movies and have a blast. He just seems like that type of dude. And he's so gifted, and the horror community and the horror genre is so much better. For him being a part of it and doing what he's done over these last 20. What is it? 21 years, 22 years. When did Saw come out? 03? Over 20 years.
Yeah, it was very early 2000.
Yeah, over 20 years, so yeah, man, he's amazing. Okay, let's go to the next category, and this is our last category. If you want one of these films to win, this is the last category where you can send in a super chat to put those points to the film of your choice. It also helps to support the channel, and we appreciate that. We got to make a choice. And Eric, we're going to start with you. And once we're done this category, then we're going to tally up the points, and we can't accept any other points. So I know sometimes there's a lag in the chat. Troy, what's up out there? So this is the time to send in points if you want. But Eric, when you have to make a choice between these three films, which film gets your choice?
Yeah, for the chat, I always say, because since Night always goes last, whenever we get to Night's choice, that's usually when we cut off the super chats to make it fair.
Yep.
This is my favorite category. I always look forward to this because now I can show my cards. I can show favoritism. And my favoritism of the three is going to Malignant.
Ooh.
And the reason is the fun factor. From beginning to end, it's balls to the walls. Bonkers. It is what am I getting into? We have the murder mystery. We have the character who can see the killer's vision. We have this Quado character, you know, doing John Wick shit.
Quaid.
Look into your mind as I kill everybody on screen. It's just so much fun from beginning to end, and it's a fist pumping movie, and I love it. I also love Hereditary, and I love The Witch, but for different reasons. James Wan has not made a bad film for me, and I've seen pretty much everything other than the last Aquaman, and I'm sure it'll be fine. My hopes are high for what he can do. Malignant is great, 100%.
All right. Okay, Kill. How about you, man?
That last Aquaman movie sucked. Just to let you know. It's really bad.
Okay.
Like,
well, I think he's still bad.
I love the first one.
Yeah, the first one, I couldn't believe how much I enjoyed the first one. I didn't see the second one because they abandoned the DCEU, bro. So I was like, well, why am I gonna watch this? It don't matter no more.
This is true. I watched it on a flight. Maybe I wasn't in the right headspace, but I was like, what are we doing here? This is not really good. I'm gonna go with The Witch. I spoke the praises of Robert Eggers earlier. I love all three of these movies, and the funnest out of them is Malignant. The one that is most emotional to me is Hereditary, but the one that straddles kind of intrigue and emotion is The Witch for me. Love the soundtrack, love the cinematography, love the period piece, and that for me always gives me a little extra when you can do all that and make it a period piece. It's harder to do that than just in a modern house that looks like, where anybody lives. So got to go with The Witch.
All right. This is tough, man. All three of these movies are great and I enjoy them all, for different movies, for different reasons. I'm sorry. And I agree with you guys. Malignant definitely is the most fun. So there's no doubt about that to me. But when I have to choose one over the other, and this is tough, man, because at the end of the day, I just think about where I hold it in my head, and it's like so damn close. But I'm going to go with Hereditary on this. And I'm going to tell you guys why. I'm going to tell you why. That movie, and all three movies affected me, okay? It's true. But like Hereditary, the heights of the emotion were just so it was just so staggering, bro. It was like this mountain that could crush you. When you think about Annie's journey, when you think about what happened to Charlie, when you think about Peter's journey, and you guys said it earlier, and I didn't really comment, but Gabriel Byrne, when you think about what he went through in that movie, he was trying to hold the family together. That scene where he's bringing Peter back from school after he bashes his head, like friggin' he's headbutting in the WWE or something. Ooh, and it's like,
rough one.
The father is just so distraught. He doesn't know what to do because his son is falling apart. His wife, obviously had a shady past, and now it looks like it's kind of rearing its ugly head. I felt so bad for him too. And anyways, all those things combined, it's just one of those movies that always sticks out just a little bit more than even some of the other greatest, films. So I'm going to go with Hereditary on that. Okay. All right, guys. We're going to count this up, man. We're going to count this up. This is going to take a minute. So let's just do a quick man. It's like, yes, Night finally came down to his senses. Man's keeping track of everybody. All right, so look, let's have you guys just do a quick recap. Eric, we'll start with you, and then Kill will go to you as I count this up, and let's see who wins this thing, man.
Wow, I knew this would be tough, and then there were some categories that were really, really, really tough for me. All three are great films. All three are great, different films. Hereditary, again, like I said, it's one of the very few films that have made me actually yell at my TV because of what's going on. When she's, again, Toni Collette's, the Spider-Man scene, when she's climbing the walls, when he's up in the attic and she's banging her head on the door to try to get it open. And then we have the finale, which I'll leave as vague as possible. The Witch. This made me an Eggers fan. You know what I mean? I want to see more of that's what's great about a film. If it's so good, it makes me want to see what the director has done. You know what I mean? I want to see, in a better mind frame. I want to see Nosferatu, revisit that. The Northman looks badass. I'm going to take Killian's word for it on The Lighthouse. You know what I mean? And go see that. And it's just difficult doing a period piece. And that's what Eggers likes to do, and he goes with his strength. And then you got bug nuts, balls to the walls, Malignant, which is just fun from beginning to end. It's not many directors can keep churning out great films for 20 plus years. James Wan, to me, is one of those directors. And what I love about him is he's so humble about it, too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He says, I don't know why people like my movies. I'm just doing what I love to do type of thing. But yeah, all three great films. This was fun. I'm feeling a little sad for Malignant. I know it had a rough time today, but it's still a great film. Yeah, go ahead, Kill.
Well, all three of these films are amazing. And guys, seriously, if you have not watched them, check them all out. One thing I want to give Ari Aster his flowers on something. I just had to look it up because I was just like, he's done two of my favorite horror movies, and he did them back to back.
Yeah.
He did Hereditary in 2018, and then he did Midsommar in 2019. Shouts out to Florence Pugh. Yep. That's pretty damn good back to back. All right. Yeah. If you have not seen Midsommar, holy shit.
Yep. Right?
That's another one to put up there with Men and Lamb. And
my wife left the room. She's like, I can't take this. She left the room. But as a good husband, I made sure to walk by and give her updates.
Yeah. And I know that's not part of the movies we're talking about here, but Midsommar, it catches you off guard because it's sunny. Everyone is beautiful and Norwegian. Everyone's nice. It's like, wow, what's going on here? And then you see. But all three of these directors are amazing. They do amazing work. They show how versatile they are, like what James Wan can do, whether it's a comic book movie making Aquaman look cool. He made Aquaman look cool. All right. Aquaman talks to the fishes. All right. And Robert Eggers, I've already stated it earlier. If he wants to do a Viking epic, I'm on it. If he's doing a vampire epic, I'm on it. What else you got? Robert Eggers just said straight up, I stay in the past.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Modern shit.
Yeah,
Robert is like, he literally said that during the press conference for Nosferatu. Yep. I like to stay in the past. All right. Yep.
That's what he said. He's doing a werewolf movie next. A wolf. Old
Night.
Old style.
Night.
Yeah.
I love my werewolf movies. All right.
Yep.
Night.
I know.
Robert Eggers doing a period piece, hopefully gothic werewolf movie.
He's even spelling it old school. WERWULF.
Yep.
He's got the U. I was like, oh boy.
It's not a werewolf, it's werewolf. You know what I mean? He's going old school.
The Vavitch, right? He loves his period pieces. So guys, I love doing our battle
13th century
like
England
this.
Kill.
13th
century England.
Chef's kiss. Thank you. That made my night. I love when we do battle worlds like this where we have great movies and it makes it hard for me and Eric and Knight and it makes us squirm in our seats, but we're all the winners for it. It's a great time for horror.
It is a great time for horror, man. And again, these three movies, these three directors specifically, I also want to throw some love to Mike Flanagan in there as well, because Mike Flanagan is doing some amazing work.
He gets with me.
Yeah, he gets a lot of credit, but sometimes I think some people kind of forget because he does the Netflix shows, which by the way, they're all fantastic. If you have not seen Bly
Midnight
Manor
Mass.
or Midnight Mass or the Midnight Club or Haunting of Hill House, you, as a horror fan, you are missing out.
All of the House of Usher, his
I
latest.
was about to say,
yeah,
yep.
all the House of Usher. People, I'm telling you, seriously. And shout out to Kill too, because I was kind of slow on Midnight Mass, and he said, "Look, this is your new assignment.
Yep.
Then you're welcome." And me and Coriander, we watched it. We couldn't stop watching it. And same thing with Hill House. Same thing with Bly Manor. Same thing with House of Usher, Midnight Club. Like, this is great horror, guys. And
he
I
loves
just
his
want
Stephen King too.
He
Look at all the Stephen King.
And he's one of the few that can do it, and it works. Gerald's Game, Dr. Sleep. Yep.
Oh, the director's cut of Dr. Sleep would.
Yep.
Sometimes when you watch a director's cut, oh shit, I don't want to watch 25 more minutes. You know what I mean? You want to watch 25 more minutes of Dr. Sleep. This is just me on my soapbox. I put Dr. Sleep above The Shining.
I know, and you've said that. Yeah, you've thrown that out there. You know, that's a tough one for me, man, because I love both. One of these days, shit, man. We'll talk about this outside.
No.
You never know. You never know.
Don't you do that to me, Ricky Bobby.
Do it.
if you're not first, you're last. But look, but yeah, Mike Flanagan has amazing stuff. And seriously, guys, if it wasn't for the fact of how YouTube operates, you know, and who knows, you know, at some point I want to be able to do it anyways. We have to just force ourselves through the algorithm. I'm trying. I really am, guys. Like, I'm seriously putting hours every week, you know, something every day. And I'm trying my best, but you know, I want to be able to spend time talking on things like those series, you know, that Flanagan and so many other talented people have done. But I just want to say that to let folks know, you know, there's a lot of stuff out there, you know, and keep an open mind. And like, and you're right, Mayan, shout out to the bent neck lady. That's right, dude. Bro. When we watched that, we were like, oh, come on. You know, it was just great shit, man. Mike Flanagan he is awesome. But anyways, now let's find out who won this match. We did all of that. All right. So look, this was interesting, and I do want to say this is that as this went on, things got a little bit tighter, you know, and Malignant was behind and started to really make some moves. I just want to say that we've got a score of 11 to 15 to 26.
Oh, wow. Closer than I thought.
Yeah. And it would have been just 22, but we did have the votage that came in. And so the winner of tonight's triple threat is Hereditary. Still the champ. It's kind of interesting too, because as we were going through this and I write down our points, man, the witch wasn't playing around for a little while in the middle of this. I started to think, man, we could have it upset, you know, and then Malignant started to come on, you know, 11 and 15, you know, that's pretty close. So Hereditary wins, you guys. Still the champ of the post 2000s. So it has what we're calling the post 2000s title.
Yeah, we're calling it New Age title.
New Age, yeah, that's what we're calling it. New Age. So it's got the New Age title. The old school title is still firmly planted in New Jersey.
Yes, sir.
Where it is. So you know, hey, if you want to go out to the forest, you can try, but you may not survive. That's all I gotta say. But seriously, this was a really fun one and some interesting categories, especially when you have 3 movies. You know, it kind of changes some things a little bit. But this was fun, man. Russell, Hereditary needs an RKO out of nowhere. Right. It looks like that's the only way it's gonna lose the title, right?
I don't know. There's a movie I'm thinking about that might be like lurking in the back. Like, ooh, I think I could take you.
Oh, okay. And
Oh, I love to hear it.
you got to tell me
Yeah.
once we get off live here. Rachel saying I like Hereditary, but I don't love it. I was hoping somehow Malignant would pull through as a dark horse win. You know,
too.
and I got to tell you, you know, when these look, and I always say to you guys, we obviously never know how these points are gonna fall. But I was really surprised that, you know, in the halfway point of this, that Malignant was really getting outmatched, because Malignant won against I believe it was Smile 2 to get this shot. And Smile 2 is a good movie too, and Malignant really did well. But again, you know, you've got two great movies that it's competing against, and yeah, this was just tough.
Well, I can give some people some info, like because I do the win-loss records. Hereditary, it's still champ at 4-1, but like the top, I guess you would say top 5 is Michael Myers, because this is all post 2000. We got Michael Myers at 5-2, Malignant 3-2, Smile. So Smile is both films is 2-2. Leatherface post 2000 is 2-2, and we have Insidious at 1-0. So it can be so random when it comes to what films we decide and who wins and who loses.
Yeah, it's true, man. I mean, that's what makes this fun. And again, guys, that's, you know, we try to put this twist on this to make it, you know, more fun and to make it something a little bit more unique to this channel only. And you know, so it's like, but that's what makes it fun for us too. And you know, it seems as though you guys enjoy it as well. Mary saying all these movies are great, each in their own way. This was sure one of the toughest battles that you've done. This was a blast. And thank you so much, Knight, Killian, Eric, for your great input. Well, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate that. Yeah, seriously. And again, a happy Mother's Day to all of you that are out there. We appreciate you. And seriously, this is fun. This is really, really fun stuff.
I'll say this was because I upload the audio too, so I was just checking the stats. This is episode 75, and what a way for episode 75 to be was this one.
Yeah, man, 70. It really is. Holy crap!
75 episodes, and we had a triple threat with Hereditary, The Witch, and Malignant. So you never know how these episodes go. And
yeah, you never know.
I always look forward to doing them. And then what I always say as a content creator to the chat is always leave a comment after you're done watching, because that feedback is what tells us that you like doing them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
yep, absolutely. And of course, and that's the big thing, is that, you know, if folks are still enjoying it, we're going to keep doing it. You know, I've been very transparent about, you know, some things just don't get that same interaction, you know, and we've had tons of that stuff that we've done, and we kind of move on to other things because again, the algorithm, it's tough, man. It's tough doing this. You know, as much fun as we have talking about the movie, sometimes the process around it is not fun whatsoever, and the stress levels can be a mountain. But that's a whole nother story. But you know, having the fun and having, like Eric said, the feedback and that encouragement and interaction and the stuff is what makes all the difference. So real quick too, Motionless Zombie in the chat, what's up? Good to see you, Santa. Y'all gonna do Terrifier versus you know, we have a list, you know, and if it works out that we would have a good matchup, and I think we do have a possibility on one of our lists. But yeah, you never know. You never know. And wow, man, just beat me to the punch. Let me say this. Go to our Patreon, and you can leave us a comment. We've got a community chat. You know, we do have, sometimes I'll ask folks what they want to see or what they like, or did they like our episode or this or that, getting feedback. So I would recommend go to the Patreon. It's easy to communicate with you guys there than it is on social media or the community posts here. And let us know what you'd like to see, and you know, we'll take it into consideration and go from there. But thank you so much, man. She beat me to the punch. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. We appreciate all the support. We hope that you guys have a good rest of your Sunday, and we will catch you guys next time. And as always, if you're watching this, if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace and happy Mother's Day.
Yes.